C9, they're a tough team. They're still really strong. They play very, very well. They tend to not make too many mistakes, and when they do make mistakes, they'll try to hold out until the late game.
The last time we played them, I believe we had a very passive game plan. We gave up like every dragon, like every baron, and we didn't actually do anything.
Dominic gets some healing. There's Meteos taking a bunch of damage. 3 inhibs now gone.
The last 2 games we played were pretty similar, where we were able to take advantage of the early game, and then as the game progressed, they were getting stronger and stronger, and it became really hard to beat them in the late game.
They have kind of had issues like actually closing out games when it gets like super late. I think that just the champions they're picking are just more towards like mid and early game.
When we beat Curse, it's been from us getting huge advantage early, and when we lost, it was them getting advantage early.
Our last win against them, we definitely showed that we can beat Cloud9.
So this time around, we don't want the same thing to happen. They kind of walked over us last game, and this game, it's our turn to return the favor.
The first question I want to ask you is about the bold strategy that you guys came out with yesterday, which was that double ADC comp. So basically, where did that come from?
Well, the players on our team have a lot of freedom to pick which champions they want, and so Voyboy was always a fan of kind of some more interesting picks mid, and he wanted to try out the Tristana. And double AD carry compositions have been around for a while. They were in Season 3. They crop up from time to time, and Voy just thought it was a strong pick, and we built the team comp around that.
Let's everybody at home just make a note here. He's confirming that Voyboy was trolling in that Travis interview about it being an accident. It was 100% planned.
Yep.
He's been practicing that all week.
I spoiled it.
Yeah, so they might use that again in the future. But really, what we want to talk about is the performance of the team in the LCS hasn't been matching up with really the expectations that the team has been coming into the LCS with. Because whenever you talk to the players, everyone's like, oh yeah, Curse is doing so well in scrims. Pretty much every single work. And they're like, oh yeah, they're really scary now. This is going to be the week. What is the discrepancy between scrims and actual LCS performance? And how do you tackle that as a coach?
Yeah, it's a really tough issue. If there was like an easy fix, we probably would have done it already. I think it really comes down to how teams kind of play different in scrims. People play a lot looser. They're trying more things out. And we're a team that reacts very well to people. And so we can punish mistakes easier. And we get a lot of early game leads. And then because it's a scrim and there's more mistakes being made, the early game lead is more like 3 to 5K gold, whereas in the LCS it can be 1 or 2. And so you have a lot more freedom when you have a bigger lead early. So in scrims, we get the same kind of leads, but because people play looser, they're bigger. And so we have struggled a little bit with taking smaller leads and extending them. So we actually have the second most gold leads in the LCS at 10 minutes, and we have like the first most first blood. So we're very good at getting an advantage, but the difference is in scrims, it's a lot bigger. So it's easier to kind of extend it.
Now, what exactly is your day-to-day role in creating the strategies that your team uses? And how collaborative of an effort is that? And how much of it is you saying like, no, this is the way it's going to be, let's do it?
No, I'm no dictator. It's a very democratic system. People say, what picks they think are strong, and my job is to facilitate essentially. And so in the double AD carry composition that we came up with, I didn't say like, we should run this. It was Voy wanting to play the AD carry mid, and then me making sure we understand the power points, when you're strong, when you're weak. The fact that, with an AD carry mid, you usually have less burst, less utility than you would if you had a standard mage, and really just understanding what's strong and weak with the composition and making sure we use it fully.
That's pretty interesting because coming up for playoffs, the whole format is going to change to a best of 5. Now, this is something that the players haven't been practicing on, so it's going to be a lot more on you to, bring something new to the table for those players. Do you think that they're going to perform better in this new, the best of 5 things, or what kind of special practice might you have for playoffs?
I'm excited for a best of 5, honestly. I think our players in particular have very deep pools. They're always trying out things. We're probably one of the more experimental teams, and so in the best of 5, you can really try and mind game some people and have more games that you can really try something weird, whereas in the best of 3, you might have like one game, you try something weird, it doesn't work, and now you need to win 2 in a row to continue on. So it's a little bit more freedom. I think that favors us, and of course it's what I get to do more of. I get to come in after the games and say, we need to work on this. They did this early game. How can we counter that kind of stuff?
Awesome. Well, that's a fabulous little taste into the life of an analyst. I want to thank you very much for joining us here on the desk. Now we're going to send it right over to Riv and Jat to get us into the game.
Thank you very much, Dash, and we are on to our final LCS match. It's Team Curse versus Cloud9.
Yeah, and Riv, like you just said, these are two teams that seem to be trying the most different stuff. In the spring split, Curse would try pretty much any team comp, and they've kept that spirit alive. The most recent example was yesterday with the double 80 carry and the Tristan in mid lane. But a thing that this could change is just keeping their opponents off balance, and it's working pretty well.
And they made it work the last time they faced off against Cloud9, and it gave them their first and only win against them in all their competitive play.
Yeah, but Cloud9 have continued to show improvement since their lackluster start, and the swing back to a more traditional laning phase really seems to have helped their psyche. Against Complexity, both High and Balls were able to take control of their lanes and actually get kills in straight-up 1v1 scenarios, and Meteos couldn't be happier with that. He's done with the Jungle Buddy system, and then he could invade the jungle and take control over the enemy jungler because his lanes were winning. It was just a good, clean game for Cloud9.
All right, let's get right into this one and check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, this time it will be Curse. That means it is Quas in the top lane, Dominate in the jungle, Voyboy in mid, Cop at 80 carry, and Xpecial wetting his whistle on support.
And on the red side, it is Cloud9. Balls in the top lane, Meteos in the jungle, High and mid, Sneaky on AD, and LemonNation on support.
Sneaky just gave a little wave to the fans. We'll be heading to the top lane for today's featured matchup, Quas versus Balls. We touched on it before. Both of these players have really benefited from the return of the 1v1 top lane.
Oh dear. Yesterday, Balls had a very big game on Nidalee. He put up a lot of map pressure with Nidalee split push, and he really helped carry his team. But on the same day yesterday, Quas was able to shut down Zion Spartan on the same champion. And if he could shut down Balls in the same way, it would go a long way in creating a Curse victory for the second time over Cloud9.
We'll have to see. If any, I believe if any more new champions come out for the top lane, it'll be Quas. He's the guy that brought us Aatrox last split and started bringing out a little bit of the crazy stuff. I think he could do it again. But we've seen a few different things in mid lane as well, and a lot of the focus of the junglers having to be towards the bottom lane. So we'll have to see how they coordinate. Curse likes to do a lot of little things in the beginning to get themselves going, and Cloud9 knows that's what'll get Curse the lead.
Yeah, Curse having those small edges in the early game. Cloud9 also plays so well with a lead, and they've been getting better and better at creating an early game lead because of those standard laning phases they've been able to get. Also, just champion diversity as we move into picks and bans really shortly here. Meteos played 4 different junglers in his past 4 games. Or sorry, Balls played 4 different top laners in his past 4 games.
4 different top laners.
Meteos as well started to break out the Nunu. Right, going back, picking some different things around, getting good jungle control, especially with Eve. And High still just playing pretty much every champion, starting to find some success.
That's true. There has been a switch up of what High has needed to play in the mid lane. We are going to be in champion select for the last matchup of the day. We'll see if Curse can take another game off of Cloud9. It will be their last chance.
It's crazy to think, actually, that the super weak victory that Curse had over Cloud9 was the first time Curse had ever beaten Cloud9.
First time ever.
So a monumental occasion for them. Syndra ban, actually, it's something High has been finding the most success on. Taken clean away.
The Curse Cloud9 game was one of the very low kill games, if you remember correctly.
Yes, 4 kills to 2, actually.
Yep.
That was the split push Jax game.
Yeah.
Jax, of course, hasn't been picked or banned too much since the base stat nerfs. Something we have to mention here, though, Yasuo not banned for the first time this week.
Yeah.
In our final game. So will Curse first pick it, or will they let it go to High? Because High would very willingly play that.
Yep, even without Trist. Saw it a lot, mentioned it a lot of times today. They're going to go try it and true 3 times in a row. It'll be Quas' Lulu in the top lane. They've been doing that since the start, or I should say middle of week 8.
Yeah, yesterday, Cloud9 actually played Lulu as a support. Big mind game coming in there. But, I mean, it's just the way these picks are going. Curse decided to do somewhat more targeted bans, especially with the Syndra being thrown in there. Cloud9 decided to block Dominate's Rengar because they're very good at coordinating mid lane ganks. But it leaves up a lot of stuff. Yasuo in particular, I feel like, is the highest priority of them all.
Yeah, don't have to pick.
Don't even pick it.
The elite.
What's going on
here?
here?
The Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw also has been banned out quite a bit today. Haven't seen him spitting up any Voidoos recently. Probably not going to see the Lee Sin, so it's not banned or worried about by Meteos. Dominate usually does not take that jungler, so they kind of skip by easy peasy on that.
It's actually kind of strange. Dominate hasn't played Lee Sin in competitive.
No.
But everyone I talk to says, yeah, Dominate's Lee Sin is really good. He crushes with it in scrims. And you're like, well, then why doesn't he? Well, we'll see if he does it today.
And then the one time he plays it, he has the St. Vicious result, where everybody counts how many Qs he misses, and it becomes a video in itself. There's a dangerous game to be played there, chat.
Dangerous game of League of Legends.
We'll see what
Still
they
wondering.
do have.
I mean, Lulu top works so well with Yasuo mid lane, and Voyboy was playing Yasuo before all the other guys in North America were.
Yeah.
Words. Grammar.
Good catch. No police for you this time. Slow lock in. And it will be the Eve. It will be a little bit potential side swiping of these team fights coming in from Dominate. Had a good play on that. In the recent days, LMQ was their recent win when he played Evelyn, so definitely tried and tested. What does High and the crew answer with? They still don't see a mid lane. They also have the chance for Nidalee to still be picked up in this game.
Very true. However, Quas was Lulu against Nidalee and handled Zion's Nidalee quite well. The ranged attacks and wave clear a turret would be very good wards against a 2v1. Which is one of the big reasons Zion did well on Nidalee today. He got to play against Aurelia.
Yeah.
Basically 2v1 top until he was going. Whoa.
Definitely been resorting back to that Mundo quite a bit recently.
There's just a couple strange things about this champion select group, and we did say these were two teams that tried the most stuff, so it makes a bit of sense that they do not have the same ban or pick prioritizations as other teams, but the fact that Braum fell through so many rotations back and forth in pick and ban, and the fact that Yasuo wasn't banned despite being banned in every game this week, and may not even be picked here. There would be a good choice if Voyboy did it mid here. They have tons of knock-up synergy already with Thresh and Lulu. There we go. There we go. It all makes sense.
Switch.
Is he going to lock it in? Do it.
Slow. There we go. He's making sure they wanted it. You didn't want to accidentally lock in anything.
Yeah. High was ready with Ruiz, though.
Easy.
I think that's why they played this whole little mind game. Ruiz is really good against Yasuo in lane. Able to itemize armor as well. So he doesn't have the same vulnerabilities that other mid laners would.
So we'll see what High can do on the rise. Wouldn't say forced onto that, as champion pool getting a little deeper here. Probably up to his waist at this point. Has a few more to go after that, but it is a lot of safety for that Kog'Maw, for something Sneaky has been able to wreak havoc on before.
And Cloud9 is going to have a very tanky team outside of Kog'Maw. Mundo Rise and Braum, just a huge amount of meat in that mid lane that will be difficult to slice through. Especially Yasuo and Lulu. Yasuo, an assassin wanting to get the squishy targets. There's pretty much only one that he would really want to lock down.
It's going to be a tough game.
It's a little tricky.
Voyboy likes to make moves, so he's probably going to try to get out of that mid lane as soon as possible. Let's see how you've been voting while the teams are loading into the game. According to LOLesports.com, 71% of you have so far said that Cloud9 is going to take the victory.
You can keep those votes coming if you change your mind, or if you just agree a whole bunch. Tweet hashtag CRS win or hashtag C9 win.
Definitely these games towards the end of the split mean so much more for teams like Curse, teams towards the bottom. And I can even say teams like Curse, they're actually in the middle of the pack now. They've been doing a lot of work for themselves, and that catalyst started coming off a super week. They just need to grab a few more wins to still be a threat to these top tier teams.
This will be a big one for Curse, especially considering Complexity lost.
Yeah.
Curse has a chance to really distance themselves once again. They had that golden opportunity last week where they played both EG and Complexity, lost both games. Curse is kind of turning into the team that beats the top tier teams and loses to the low tier teams. Almost like Cloud9.
It's the opposite of TSM. Yeah, almost like Cloud9 indeed. We'll see how this clash happens here. Last game of the day before Challenger starts for your LCS. We're going to be on the Rift, locked and loaded. Curse versus Cloud9. Curse really looking to pick up a win here. High already starting with the aggressive Crystal. to get into lane and start to do some damage. See how this plays out. Doran's ring to shield in the top lane. A little bit of Tarragon's love for both supports in the bottom. I say relic point.
Yeah, it will soon be a Targon.
Indeed. Righto, sir. Mid lane foray.
Cop always going to the mid lane. It's just what Curse likes to do. But there's no fun skill shots for him to dodge this time. Skill shot battle happens in the top lane this time. Ball's throwing stuff at Quas. Oh, Mehmet! Oh, got him. Shield's down. He'll just go run around in circle and get it back.
Yep.
It begins.
There's going to be a lot of it today, too. If he's on Mundo, he's not dying instantly in these fights. They're going to be a chance for a while. So, Ball's got the home crowd on his side right now. We'll see if this works for him. Quas is going to try to shut down those voices throughout the game. Balls actually didn't need any help for his Nidalee play. We'll see how much Meteos focuses that top lane this time against the Lulu pickup.
Nothing for IWillDominate? That's rude.
Can't do it. It's not single syllable. It doesn't work as well.
Yeah, we can see standard lanes looking. Dominate will not have the easiest jungle start. This is going to hurt a little bit, the fact that he will reveal himself as soon as he starts this. People are trying. Oh, no.
Over it. Got the override. Righto. Here we go. Lock it down. The first attacks come out in the mid lane. They go tit for tat. And the trade pretty even to start off the game. See how much love they actually give each other. Copy and a Winter's Bite to the face. No play here by Sneaky to get some Bio-Arcane shots on. Very interesting early game that Cop and Xpecial have been playing. They try to get a very early aggression, as most people would. But then they just can't seem to hold it. Cloud9 will find a way to either force something with Meteos that gives Cop to blow his flash, and that's all that Cloud9 needs to take back control.
I thought that was a really cool interview with Curse's analyst before this game. But the hook actually creating some damage.
Very nice.
How he said in scrims, teams play a lot more loose.
Yeah.
Curse is actually really good at capitalizing on mistakes. So instead of having a 5,000 gold lead, they have a 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
And honestly, if your team's play style is built around capitalizing on any mistakes, it means you're not actually very good at manufacturing your own victories or your own plays.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense why Curse is having issues transitioning, despite being so good at scrims. They need to be the initiators of positive trades, not the beneficiaries of enemy mistakes.
Right. So far, they have provided themselves a little bit of an advantage in the bottom lane, at least reaching, I would say 2 first. Yeah, okay. I thought they had 3s on the side of Sneaky already. So they're good and pushed up, but LemonNation's already healed up. The Relic keeping them safe, so we'll wait for that pushback that we're looking for. Good pressure by High has already brought Voyboy down, caused him to chug a few of those potions. But he can't get any farther than this. Yasuo at the turret. You're just going to be throwing stuff into a wall.
Still a nice early laning phase by High. Meteos kind of waiting in the wings, hoping to catch a counter gank. Because High is really daring to be ganked right now, throwing spells basically at turret range.
He is going to have to back already. And High kind of not drastically changing his gameplay, but definitely staying aggressive.
There's the counter.
Oh, wow. Could come back in for the kill. Double buff refresh, going over to Meteos. No, it is stopped. The teleport comes in and is not stopped from Quas.
Gets a knockout.
No way. Double buff going to Voyboy. He gets the double kill. Not as calculated as he would have liked. Double buffs go away, but that's huge.
He gives a kill back to get one, plus the huge wave is lost by High at the turret right here. The fact that Quas was actually able to make that teleport a positive exchange was fantastic. It was a counter gank, and then a counter gank, basically what happened here. Meteos waiting in the wings, not level 4. Made him a little squishier right here, and he immediately turns when the teleport happens. But look how far away Quas is here. Runs, dashes in, gets the double glitter lance.
Yeah, double lance was huge there.
If not for the rune prison by High there, it would have been a 2 for 0. And another early game lead by Curse.
There it is, Jap. Can they carry it? Keeping an eye on just that 600 gold lead. They said it's not big. Small increments. There's the first one. How will the dominoes fall now? for Cloud9. Trying to reactivate something in mid where they have pink ward control. See if Meteos now can get into the hair of Dominate and thwart some of his ganks.
It's going to be tricky after Meteos loses his double buffs.
Yep, that was not easy.
And we actually mentioned yesterday how Curse had first blood in 16 of their 21 games. They didn't actually get first blood in this game, technically speaking, so that won't increase, but they still get the better end of the first exchange.
Best of a bad situation that was starting for sure. Kai even missing that CS, still 28 to 15 in the mid lane, and he's happy to sit and charge up the tier, so he comes off that all right with the kill. He's looking for the late game. Point blank hook coming from Xpecial, takes LemonNation for a quick walk there. No Voido's in range for Sneaky, so they just use this to get a little bit of zone.
That bottom lane, very even for now.
Yeah, it could definitely tell us a lot of the story later.
Oh, can he get the knockup?
That flash is down. There's not a lot of crowd control to be had. Oh my gosh, the perseverance in mid lane with 0 crowd control. They still come up with a kill.
It's one thing for High to play aggressive and deny CS, but it's another to not have the backup of your jungler.
Yeah.
Voyboy going aggressive at the right time and really making that Yasuo work. 3-1 already in the lane and evening out the CS from early.
Oh no! Now taking
though.
Sneaky for a walk.
Yeah, you brought in a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah, you asked for it and they gave it. Very good block coming in from LemonNation. And Cloud9 kind of grabs the upper hand that Cop and Xpecial had just a bit ago.
That's the crazy thing about Kog'Maw right now, is if he gets in a melee range of you and lands all of his spells, especially the early game Armored Magic Resist Shred, you just can't trade with the guy, especially Braum when he can come in afterwards and block that stuff. So a level 5 bottom lane versus level 4 bottom lane getting hooked in, even though it seemed like a good idea, it was a really bad one.
Quas keeping himself safe in the top lane. Dominate has not paid him a visit, and he's 6, so now a bit safer under the turret. Whoa, maybe not, maybe not. That was close. That was close. It's all covered in glitter right now.
This is looking like a game that Cloud9 will need to take to late game.
Yeah, the builds, they're showing it as well. Sneaky's going for the Phage Triforce. He should have a good spike of damage around 13, 14 minutes. And if Cloud9 can control the dragons, they can do things like let balls just farm top lane and get high to be a huge rise towards the late game. They still have Cop they're looking at. Voyboy is going to be quite big at making plays as well. And like we said, once he does hit 6, once that potential comes in, we might see a little bit of roam from him.
And High still has the potential to bully Voyboy in lane. Voyboy rushed Mercury Treads for a little bit of added magic resist, but most importantly so the root wouldn't last very long. And the stun from Elise as well.
A lot of fight coming out of these teams. You can see that story being told by the CS. 8.5 minutes in, 40-40 in the mid lane, 60s on the 80 carries. These guys are definitely getting a lot of poke on in the lane. Missing out on a bit of farm. Let's see who that goes to the advantage of. Top lane, 73-66, so Quas is playing it nice.
Chipping away that turret.
Yeah, he'll get that turret before Quas, or Balls rather, can really prevent any ganks from happening. Nobody really wanting a full commit here, just the back and forth. Only 5s and 6s, kind of not allowing the gank to fully go through. Would love to have the ultimates on the supports right now, and that might be what LemonNation and Sneaky are looking for here. Getting good damage, trying to poke down Cop over and over with the Winter's Bite. And Lemon getting high to roam possibly.
Oh, he's got to be careful.
Ah, he realized he was hatching that pink ward.
There's a lot of danger knowing how well Eve has started this game, but Cop is a little bit weak right now.
That's the level 6. Lemon and Sneaky hit it, but they wait a little long in the Glacial Fissure. They could still get Cop out of this. The box is there. He gets pulled in. Sneaky can only watch Lemon now, but he walks in range for the stand behind me. Oh my God, teleport's coming in on board side. It's about to be a party, Jack. Dominate's gonna get locked up. They smell blood. They're gonna keep going for balls now. He throws down the ultimate. He can't. He actually doesn't have it. They are pushing Cloud9 off this, and it could spell Dragon. Voyboy with one dash completes it. Will he flash? One last attack. The shield is too big. It's gonna fall soon. He gets the Q. Does he have a triple kill to himself? Balls now, or High rather, coming up huge. One last Q gets himself a double kill. Voyboy went way too deep on this one, and he gives up the 2 kills in the form of gold. over to Meteos.
5v5 happened in the bot lane 10 minutes in. Everybody wanted to join the party, and Curse and Cloud9 both went a little bit crazy. Cloud9 comes out the victor and the dragon afterwards.
I thought Curse had that until Voyboy dove in. I thought Curse was going to back up and be like, Dragon, let's go.
I think they very well could have. I mean, first off, there's a lot to talk about this fight.
Oh, yeah.
The level 6 burst from Kog'Maw and Braum is massive. You just got to land a few spells in there incredibly low. The ultimate from Kog'Maw is what makes his trade so one-sided. They get the one slow, meaning they can land a whole bunch of other slows. Then obviously the missile created the heal being burned, which made you think Dominate was going to be able to come in and clean up very easily. Look at how many people are not in bottom lane right now on the minimap, and how many soon will
go.
Double teleports, obviously. Dom really didn't get the close he needed. The fact that he didn't finish off Lemon here really hurt them in the greater context of the fight, especially because Quas had to burn his ultimate on Dominate instead of Voyboy. They could have used it right there to get a quick double knockup, a quick double kill, and stop the extra shove from coming through. But then Voyboy chased into the turret, forgetting about High. Keep in mind, if they get those 2 kills of the turret, they could have backed up beforehand. So Cloud9 really capitalizing on Curse's over-aggression there and bloodthirstiness to keep this game close.
Always wanting a little too much. And always giving him a little bit of trouble. 5-4 here. Gold is 700 in favor right now of Curse after that huge fight.
Check this out. They actually lane swap. Balls at High right here. Voyboy won't be able to cut through the huge tankiness of Balls, even if he's built magic resist right now. This game also really reminds me of the last time that Cloud9 played Mundo and Kog'Maw in an eerie number of ways. It was against LMQ in week 7, Riv. But in that game, there was also an LMQ team that had an early lead, dove too far in the early game, and then Balls turned it around and got a bunch of kills. This time it was actually High that turned it around.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, it's allowing this Cloud9 late game team composition an excuse to stall for later, because the big assault that was supposed to swing Curse into a huge lead backfired, and now they still have that late game composition in their back.
Oh no, that's a dead Xpecial coming in. The combination of Living Artillery and Byrocane is such a burst. Usually an AD carry cannot bring at level 6. That's Kog'Maw's damage, and he's showing it right there. Good crowd control and teamwork by LemonNation and Sneaky in the bottom lane to get a winning lane out of that while being pushed in early at the beginning. Seeing Meteos come down as well, he only approaches the situation if he feels very sure about the result, and that's going to be a lockup. Oh my God, he walks around and does he have the kill? He already used his repel, but he does have his range of Q to get in for the kill, and he was very sure.
Very well played gank there by Meteos, timing his spells just right. A lot of Elises will try for the stun first, but Meteos closed the distance to then make the stun a higher percentage shot. Also, he has the damage item for Elise, the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith.
Also got the Summoner Heal out of comp on that one too.
And Meteos has actually changed his Elise skill order since switching items. Most Elises have done this. The big thing that was happening when Elises were going the Spirit of the Ancient Golem is they would max their E second for a longer duration stun. They'd want it 2 seconds by level 13. Now that they have more ability power, they want the damage from that volatile spider. And the spiderlings as well for just faster clear and faster damage. It also, in my opinion, helps the Merc Tread case for Voyboy, because there's going to be a bunch of micro stuns that he's now reducing. A 0.75 second route from Ruiz early game, only a 1 second stun from Elise, meaning it'll actually be a lot easier for people to get away because he has those Merc Treads.
Also, wants to get away from that exhaust. LemonNation is going to be throwing down on him. A little support wars going on. Oh, wow, looks like Xpecial brought way more to the party than LemonNation.
He had an invisible friend that was actually real. So Dominate came after him.
No imaginations here. Almost finished up on the Triforce for Sneaky. Actually quite late for the average Triforces we've usually seen. Completed by 13, 14 minutes, even on a semi-bad game. Voyboy getting some wards in. They have good coverage already up here, so it's really for Curse to get more coverage, try to give themselves options to be created. Heavy wards on the red. Interesting. Dragon 1 minute and 30. See if they can catch Meteos out trying to farm one of his buffs before they go for this. Right now they see him in the bottom lane. Dominate will not be seen.
this bottom lane for Cloud9 is also really starting to take over. See, laning like this is one of the most underrated things that propelled Cloud9 to the top of the LCS for so long. It makes life very easy for Meteos when he has a bunch of winning options to go to. Should I go to the bottom lane that's killing a bunch of people? Or the mid lane with a really fed Rise? I think I'll do either one.
Uh-oh. Just walk away from the situation.
Look at this, though. They were basically fighting off a 2v3. Now it's a 4v2, and they're still not going down.
Very interesting. Quas did that teleport from mid lane. That's Yasuo on the top, and Curse is still going to stick with this one, trying to go very strong. Meteos on the backside to help protect. And he's quite big with the Spectral finished up. Phoenix Codex as well on the backside.
And that's the best. Codex. That is the best feeling as a bottom lane Riv, when the other team sends 4 people
Everybody
for you,
and you just stop
and you just get away. No problem.
You know, Jet, you're talking about how everything's kind of working in Cloud9's favor. It really does. You're saying Meteos gets to do what he wants. He doesn't have to roam the jungle with Balls anymore. Balls gets his solo in the top lane now. And High can keep himself safe, which even puts a bigger smile on Meteos' face that he doesn't have to stay in the back pocket. So it's even just the switch in the patches really working out for Cloud9 when they were starting to struggle in the middle of the season there.
Really fast Dragon as well by Elise. Stopping Curse from being able to collapse on them. Curse really wants to find a fight. They're feeling a little bit pressed right now, knowing everything has been going against them.
Very aggressive Voyboy. Probably hoping the team could follow up on that if they did execute.
They want it.
So look at, he flashes!
There's no flash on High, though.
Sidestepped. Sidestep for 5 minutes. How's that?
It's yet another force that doesn't work for Curse. They can only do that so many times before they lose control of the game. But because Cloud9 did do that Dragon, they're trying to get some turret pushes. They might get 2 turrets here.
Nice influx of gold to bring it back to exactly even. The map pressure won by Curse. 3 turrets down. They're going to go ahead and start using power in numbers to make things happen for themselves. Cloud9 has still been trying to work the laning phase, get themselves up before they have to approach the fight. But it's like Curse said, going to have to bring that team that's ready to fight, a team that's ready to be mechanically advanced against Cloud9. Let's see if they can get that team fight going down. They have the Yasuo, and they have Quas for good utility once they get inside. But it's the late game that Cloud9's looking for. You see Sneaky's more than happy to
Sneaky has been
lock
such a
down this turret
for Cloud9
this season
as well.
Yeah.
Kind of the most consistent member on the team. So it feels good to have him on a Kog'Maw who is doing well. With the Trinity Force completed, him being able to abuse that quick range disparity with his maxed W, that first hit will be doing so much damage. If they can land any type of slow to begin the fight, it basically means Cop would have to flash away immediately.
Keeping things safe. Curse is getting themselves, they've had these forward wards in the top side, but they haven't really been able to use any of them just yet. Now knowing the red is up, see if they can formulate a plan even deeper now. Curse is spending a lot of time getting these in position. Hopefully they work.
They really are. A lot of minions were lost there just to get the red buff, but it's all about whether they can capitalize that into kills. They're trying again, but here could be the counter.
Whoa.
Another whiff.
Oh no, just to the left. Xpecial trying to predict the walk of High coming in, but he gets locked up and he doesn't make the move. There's the ultimate onto Voyboy, very early, but that utility is going to help him stay alive for a second. Sneaky on the backside, able to quickly shred through. Looks like the HP bars weren't even there for Curse. Meteos now having to form a new formation. As Balls comes in, he's going to take down Xpecial with the Burning Agony on. No! The Summoner heal comes out. A Cathian surprise from Sneaky. True damage takes down Xpecial. Cop coming up, getting excited. He's taken down one of the Spiderlings. And what a chaotic fight that Cloud9 falls to.
Curse had more people in that fight, and their continual attempts of finding a fight
paid off.
Finally paid off, exactly. They're now up 9 kills to 8. And that was a scary looking fight because it didn't seem like they're going to have the damage to take down Kog'Maw, but they killed enough damage that they had the time to do it. Especially when you met the
scary initiation.
But quite honestly, they just had more people there before Cloud9 did. It was a 4v2 for a while, and Meteos was around the outskirts of the fight. Finishing off High before he could really chunk people down too much. And then watch Xpecial, actually. It's a very critical thing in this fight. landing enough lockdown onto Sneaky that Sneaky could not do very much damage. Plays into 2 hooks in a row, and he kept him down. Voyboy, though, that's not good. Oh!
Curse gets something, then they want too much.
Let's check out this missile, though. No.
Good catch. Isotoners. 9-9 score after these fights. Voyboy, a little headstrong on that one.
We got ourselves a game, though, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Curse not giving up. They tasted what it was like to beat Cloud9 the first time in their competitive play, and they want another one before it's over in this split.
Yeah, 20 minutes in, gold leads non-existent.
Again, right back to even.
However, Kog'Maw plus Mundo plus Ruiz are rather scary. Not to take away from Jinx, Yasuo, Lulu. They can pull off some very awesome things themselves if you're looking at the 3 main carries of a team, top lane, mid lane, and AD carry. But it's not to the same level at which Cloud9 has. So assuming perfect play, if this game makes 40 minutes, Cloud9 will win.
Very according purchases coming from the supports as well. LemonNation looking to stay even more tanky with some Ninja Tabis. I like the purchase from Xpecial on Lucidity Boots, wanting to create hook opportunities. Keep those hooks coming.
Yeah, that wind wall doesn't stop
too much at the turret,
That's pretty much just Sneaky's damage, taking Voyboy to 25%.
Just missing the cord. Man of the hour enters the fight with the team in mid lane. And it looks like they're going to try and get this turret. They should have it on this push. I don't think Curse is going to have enough power to stop. Curse is backed up into their side of the jungle, or their side of the jungle and the map, but they've gotten the Baron wards they need. 2 pink wards on that will give them enough time to set up some defense if Cloud9 feels like they have the advantage there.
Voyboy needed to go back to base long ago. He was chunked down.
Oh yeah, in that situation.
He was chunked down, and then he
long
spent
outside.
about 15 seconds taking the Wraith camp. And because Cloud9 ended up seeing him doing that, they can now get ward control for Dragon, which is really important in games this close, especially when Curse is the team that needs to make the moves. Cloud9 in full position to take this Dragon because there's no ward control from Curse.
You have to realize every action has reaction. Even the small visual of Voyboy doing the wrong thing. They know now he's in the bottom lane. This is going to be once again
uncontested. And look how dangerous this is by IWillDominate walking in there. They do get the scrying orb off, but it's too late.
Nothing. Eats up the choppers. High is still in there. Almost sees it, gets a flash, gets Cobb's flash. So that means he needs the lantern, but he goes down instantly. Yes, he got the rocket off, but was it enough for the team to continue the damage? Dominate gets the ultimate. That was in defense this time. We just saw Curse doing everything on the offense. What can they do now to recuperate after they've been initiated? Boy goes 1. Can he get another one now? It's going to be on to LemonNation. He gets the next kill. That was a shutdown coming into Meteos. Does he have the gap closed to take down Balls? No, he does not. And he's safe under the turret, but this looks like another turret takedown coming in for Curse. As they get a little more, they take a lot.
Wow, the gold is still even, unbelievably, after all this, but Curse is pushing 3v1. Ball's the only lone survivor. That was honestly Cloud9 reaching a little bit too far, and Voyboy being in just the right position by the end of the fight. They end up taking another turret in this one and are doing just enough to keep themselves in position in this game.
Being such a complete monster. It went so different when Curse initiated.
So here's the thing. Yes, they did kill Cobb, but Hyde basically died in the process. So those are kind of 2 big carries taken down. And then it's really about Voyboy here coming in from the back of the fight. He doesn't actually ult to finish off Sneaky because he didn't need to.
Right.
Then
you get everybody.
He finishes off Meteos right there. And because of the massive shields of Lulu, he is untouchable and Balls has to run away. Because the Rise and the Kog'Maw fell so early on in that fight, Curse was again able to take on the world. Sneaky's got to be able to keep himself safe.
Frozen Heart Rush, or a Rush. Second item from High as he's building himself up accordingly. Blade of the Ruin King builds from Voyboy instead of going for that Infinity Edge damage. And keeping himself alive in these fights. Double shield to help as well. And all the summoner heals being shut down by this Varela Nomicon.
Might be in position. Balls has no teleport. Cloud9 is smart to get out of there as quickly as possible.
He's cruising. He's gonna be walking through a lot of wards right now. Curse back to the mid lane. Doesn't look like they're gonna try to get anything out of this.
itemization-wise, Cop is really far behind this game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just the Infinity Edge and Zeal. So it is
He's
really
only got
on
950
It's
gold.
really on the shoulders of Voyboy. Cop gonna have to be doing the upfront damage. He needs more of that. To make this work. Voyboy though taking on a tank. Oh my god!
Almost on the end, but the speed allows him to get out safely, and we can see what Voyboy now can do by himself. The correct build, that percent damage from the Blade of the Rune King chunking through the HP bar of Balls right now. 11-13 as they may decide to coax out a Baron.
It is so dangerous.
Yeah.
They're basically only
Yeah.
playing for vision control right here. They're hoping that they can catch Cloud9 in ward control wars.
Oh,
so
no way!
aggressive.
No way! He goes on to Sneaky. He closes that gap immediately, and he puts him up into the air, and Dunkster down to the ground. Dunkster, is that even a word? It is now, because Voyboy just did it. 26 minutes in, I cannot believe they got a pick solely on the AD carry out in mid lane.
Hey, Voyboy is using the mobility of Yasuo, and Sneaky is getting caught in some uncompromising positions. The ward is on the Baron right here, no Kog'Maw. But Baron against Ruiz is a very scary proposition. I feel like I've seen this game before.
Oh my gosh, deja vu as we're coming in. LemonNation's gonna try to get a Glacial Fissure perfectly in the Baron den. He does. Xpecial's forced to flash out, and that's eyeball. Sneaky is already down from the previous engagement. That is gonna be Quas dropping now. Meteos, they are all over Cloud9. Balls next in the eyes of Curse. They could get it. That's gonna be the zap. That's gonna be the takedown. Xpecial looks for a hook to bring in Balls, but he's still the last one standing to run from the fight.
Meteos focused the Baron there to make sure that it wasn't a total loss for Cloud9. It's always a choice when you go in for these Baron fights, whether you try and take the fight or whether you try and take the Baron. Very clearly, Curse wanted the fight, and Cloud9 wanted to steal the Baron. That's why they ended up dying in this fight, because it was a 4v5, but look at the damage High put down right at the start of this. Meteos doesn't even think about players. Says, hey guys, I'm gonna take the Baron. If he didn't do that, I think Cloud9 still loses the fight. Curse has Baron as well as 4 people alive, but because the Baron steal happened, this game remains incredibly close.
Absolutely amazing. Meteos holding on to the smite, and Dominate actually helped him get that one. 17-12. Still, really not even a gold lead within this game. The small increments that Curse gets, they don't come in big chunks. It's just 1,000 right now that they're sitting on, and 4-2. That Baron going over to Cloud9, very, very helpful. Really only sitting on one member.
And we actually still haven't seen a clean fight from Cloud9.
No.
Most of these fights from Curse,
like crazy flash engages.
Curse has been in better positions. Sneaky, obviously the composition doesn't do well to defend the Kog'Maw. And it is a team of fairly tanky people, or at least hard people to kill if you factor in Elise.
Okay.
So there's a huge target on Sneaky's back. But with that being said, if Cloud9 has a clean fight and Braum can protect the Kog'Maw properly, it still stands to reason that Cloud9 should be able to win that fight fairly handily. It is but for the great play of Curse that they are staying in this game with all their kills. Dragon up in 15 seconds.
Grouping up is exactly what Voyboy wants out of Cloud9. It's just very hard to get to that back line once it happens. So much coverage.
Wants the right kind of catch.
Yeah.
They need a way of knocking up Sneaky as well. Quas is doing a split push here. It looks like they're contented to give up this Dragon and not face them 5v5. There's a bit of respect there to the team code.
Where are they going to take this? Looks like they're going to go top side. Baron's down. Map is objective free. That turret is very low. It's going down no matter what after this engagement. And Balls may be going down too.
Would they
Cuddly incoming, and it may be Cuddly going down. Balls is going to get knocked up. Ouch! They give him a kick right in the name.
Another one right there. They get the kill on the tank, and now they have minions with the 5v4. They did burn a lot of ults, so the dive efficiency here could be questionable. The hook misses as well.
Oh my gosh, the ultimate AoE coming in from Ruiz is doing enough damage to probably turn this fight. Where's Sneaky on the outside, doing enough shots. Voyboy in for a quick static shiv proc. Good damage over on the LemonNation, but they don't take it. That one shot goes down. Curse, Cop able to pick himself up a kill. And it looks like they will reset for another attack.
These teams are playing with fire, Riv, because if they get one reset onto Jinx, it could just be curtains. And they were standing in a group for Ryze AoE, so it could have just went back the other way just as easily.
Very, very interesting altercations between both teams as they commit and then disengage to these fights almost at the same time. 1,600 gold sitting on Sneaky right now, probably looking to turn that into a Phantom Dancer when he can. More crit, more power, more Kog'Maw. He's been hitting pretty good living artilleries. But both teams seem to be getting the fights they want. One happens in favor of Curse, one in Cloud9.
This has been an action-packed game, and honestly, I've been really impressed with the amount of aggression these teams in general have been taking this week. We definitely had that week of super slow games when the 80 carry itemization came in. And I could be reading too much into this, but when the 80 carries became so much more powerful, teams weren't really sure how to react because it had been a while since they played the incredibly aggressive dive the 80 carry or be killed game.
Right.
And they were just staying away from each other for so long. But now that they've been sitting on those strong 80 carries for a little while, teams are becoming much more confident and they're much more willing to just go in and get something done. And it's a trend that I hope continues because these games are fantastic to watch.
Definitely creating more high priority targets for teams to be focused on. And when it's the 80 carry, when it's the one dealing out the DPS, becomes a big factor. Cloud9 trying to get around that with Ruiz's DPS acting the same way, coming out of the mid lane. And we see Voyboy trying to execute the same. Jinx and Kog'Maw, the choices of our final game here in week 9. Both have been seen quite a bit with the resurgence of the late game 80 carries. Kog'Maw finding himself more on the ban list than not, with Sneaky getting him this game 5-4-1. Feeling very comfortable out of the laning phase.
And I do have to point out, we've been talking so much about Voyboy in this game. Dominate and Quas have been absolutely everywhere. 17 of the 19 kills for Dominate, and as a top laner, Quas has been involved in 16 of the 19 kills. That is almost
very omnipresent,
unheard of.
And they weren't coming to his lane. Those were all teleports that we've seen throughout the game. Definitely making those opportunities.
That's the first pick Lulu paying dividends.
It's crazy. Get that first pick quite a bit for themselves. Can always get a safe lane out of Quas. Definitely this time some results. 300 CS to 220 in that lane. We're still actually quite low in the realm of CS with the amount of engages we've had in this game. Everybody's focused on champions and sharing minions in the lanes, as you can see. 57 seconds on Baron. Both teams pretty much just biding their time until the worm resurfaces.
Which will happen in 51 seconds.
That is true.
Wonder if Quas will try and get some split push going. No Lich Bane, which will slow down his split push a little bit. I also have to point out Sneaky's Phantom Dancer on Kog'Maw.
Yep, just got that.
You usually see an Infinity Edge or a Last Whisper as that third item. But in this game in particular, you can see almost no armor being built onto Curse, and a Phantom Dancer instead of an Infinity Edge, because it will grant him a little bit of extra mobility, and he really needs that this game. As well as if you're able to just stand still and auto attack on Kog'Maw because of his percentage health damage, Phantom Dancer will do just as much in that case as Infinity Edge will at this stage in the build.
Looks like they're trying to get everything cleared out now. Baron is live. The Nasher is
teleporting
the
in,
objective.
actually.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is a really early teleport. They have a pink ward inside.
They say, let's do it.
But, I mean, how long is it going to last? They already played this game once.
Dominate's got to run around. They're peeling off, but Cop doesn't know he's about to get whacked. Oh, that's actually on the same team. What am I talking about? Lost here. I'm getting so excited I want to fight. Balls on the backside.
Damage on this Baron. It's actually about half health, and they're taking a little bit of poke. I'd say a little bit too much. Xpecial looking a little bit vulnerable here.
Very close. He always leaves himself out. He will go down for the team as long as he can throw that box out.
Oh, man.
But you don't want to be taking that much. Volatile Spider even cutting off a good chunk from both.
Now they're vulnerable to the Cloud9 Baron, and we know how strong Cloud9 is in proper 5v5s. This is the fight!
Locked in, the Agony's Embrace to come down from Dominate. Cloud9 has to funnel in here. Can they get to Cop? Cop has a free chance to shoot everybody. What an amazing rocket! A 4-member attack, and Cop still on the outside, getting good damage down. Balls is about to be the next one to go down. The flashes are getting out. Great shields, great attacks. Cop does get a reset there. Sneaky is very healthy. One shot can kill a few. Cop, oh my god, one shot can kill a few. That's what he needed, and here it comes. Sneaky's gonna turn it around, and he does.
A quadra kill from Sneaky. What an insane fight. Everyone funneled into the corridor and got hit by pretty much everything.
talk about going mission impossible and keeping quiet for the better of the situation. Sneaky was hidden for 3 to 4 seconds there, but came out on top because he knew what he was doing.
I mean, the Phantom Dancer as well, giving him that little bit of extra mobility, but I do feel like this fight was actually heavily about Cop and his inability to manage his get excited resets. But just watch this.
Yeah, I thought he had it.
Voyboy lands a great thing on a Sneaky to keep him kind of low. But just watch here. Where is Cop and how much stuttering is he doing versus damage?
Yeah.
Really good right here. But at this point, he has his flash. He could flash and kill high and then jump for Sneaky. But here, he's doing a lot of dancing back and forth while no one's doing damage. He then decides to flash, doesn't get the kill, ends up killing himself, and did not wait out the time for Sneaky, though, waiting in the brush. That did have no vision, by the way.
Right.
Which was the biggest
what
ruse of
game
them all.
of
Sneaky hit out at the very end.
And Mouse being played by Sneaky. Patience is a virtue, Jack.
It really is. Quadra kill is huge. They're just right back at it. Why not? They almost won that last fight. They know that Cloud9 is amazing late game. Go for Baron.
And it's good because nobody's going to come around behind Cop this time. What a fight. 17 to 23. We're going at it again. Right back to the fight. Bring the batting order back around because it looks time. Curse is going to be going around the bases on this one. Sneaky tries for the same brush, but he's not getting the same result. Cloud9 is running for the hills on this one, and Curse gets what they want.
The Baron and the fight win. They just brute forced their way through the Cloud9 team there. They said they did not care. The Glitter Lances from Quas were spectacular, and because everyone was so clumped, the AoE from Jinx was just spectacular in that time. They now have Baron, 3 people down on Cloud9. They might be looking at the game.
37 minutes on the clock. Curse is going to knock down the first inhibitor, and they're going to make Cloud9 rather look very scared for the rest of this matchup. Cloud9 now going to try to get as much pushing in their lanes as they can. One to focus on the bottom lane. Let's keep the action going.
They do not seem hesitant to go and do things. IWillDominate's ultimate will be up pretty fast. Voyboy flying in. There's Quas!
That was a millimeter of a turret to save, and everybody actually left the base for it. Cloud9 making some very risky decisions there to just see that Curse was going to take down their turret. Curse now running amok on Cloud9 side of the base. They've got a 4,000 gold lead. Those incremental advantages now surmounting for Curse.
I think one of the biggest stories of this game as well, Riv, is the amount of assists that Curse has. And it really tells a story of team fighting versus not team fighting well. I mean,
yeah,
the total kills in the game is not, there's not too big of a discrepancy, 26 to 17. But there's no one on Cloud9 with double-digit assists. Every single person on Curse is sitting in double-digit assists right now. The kill participation...
Almost 20 across the board.
The kill participation is huge. I give props to every Curse fantasy owner who started the Curse player this week.
Oh dear.
They're getting rewarded greatly right now. But as well, just to the Curse team for grouping up and being just a more mobile, more coordinated team than Cloud9. We keep mentioning how, or I kept mentioning how the Cloud9 team fight, like in theory, works very well, especially if they can get into the late game.
Yeah.
But if they're never actually fighting as 5, or if they get caught out and then fight as 5, or if they pile in a really close corridor as 5 and it doesn't really matter, all these things are just creating a bigger and bigger Curse lead.
We'll see what they have to pressure that next. You have to consider both of what they did just get out of Cloud9 were forced towards Baron fights, and they were able to capitalize on those. Yes, we did say Curse had trouble getting things to happen, but they had the objective to be the catalyst there. Can they make it happen straightforward now? Breaking through the second turret in the base of Cloud9 is going to be a little bit more difficult with all eyes on them.
Voyboy has been a monster on Yasuo this game. Really, Curse has played very, very well.
Very
Aside from that early slip-up, honestly, when they overdove the turret.
There's the overdive, and then a little bit of a fight at Baron versus health.
But with all that said, it's a 4,000 gold lead. This game is still close.
At
the
this
itemization
point, yeah.
strength at Cloud9 is very real.
No meaning.
Sneaky still does a lot of damage. But Eve is behind them. Here it comes. Where's the follow-up?
Oh my gosh, they almost don't even react right away. They don't even know what's happening. A fly-in and a crush here from Curse. LemonNation goes down, but do they have enough? This is now very chaotic once Cloud9 has figured out what was happening, and it doesn't come so easy. They get 2 on each side, and Curse is forced out of the base.
Voyboy and Quas, the 2 solos going down just for 2, but basically the 2 most supportive members of Cloud9 fall. Meaning all the damage in the world is up right now for Cloud9. They got to be careful to dodge the crowd control if they decide to fight this. But a base defense successful for Cloud9.
Very good job. They didn't get the inhibitor. Good play by Cloud9 coming out. Balls will start to get the lanes pushed.
Yeah.
See this
I mean,
one
look at
more
Dom.
time.
It was a great open. You can see how threatening he is to Sneaky. But the follow-up never arrived. No one else could help him.
No.
Everyone else gets caught up in the turret.
LemonNation killed first. A lot of health to go through there.
Yeah, Voyboy was a blur in that one. Just a mess on top of that turret. No one focusing the turret. They're going for the ace and then win.
Yeah. Gotta take the white. All right, so let's see. Curse working what they can now, having a bit of trouble getting inside the base of Cloud9. That 4,000 gold lead, like you're saying, Chad, at this point, 70,000 on each team. They might as well not even be there. See what Cloud9's next move can be. I feel like if they actually get the upper hand on a fight, they'll be right in Curse's base. Curse is not having an easy time with these engages.
Well, 41 minutes into the game now, so death timers are nothing to joke about.
That too. Have a long time to take a waltz down mid lane. Shortest lane of the game. Cloud9 will for sure make use of that. Moving up now. They are getting obviously pushed towards the open inhibitor. Work that till it goes down, but their side lane is now towards the top side. It's not going to hurt. They have a minute and 20 to do that.
So just a note on item builds as well. Quas obviously built the IWillDominate this game on Lulu to try and prevent Balls' regen on Mundo. But because he has that itemization slot, he didn't have room for Azanias early on in the game. It also blocks him from building a Lich Bait, which is a core item on so many late game Lulu items in the past. So that's actually going to hurt Curse a fair bit.
Yeah, they could use that structure damage right now.
They could use the structure damage in sieging, absolutely. As well as if Quas can actually get in the backline on some squishies, that burst damage he would be able to have from the Lich Bait is huge. I'd almost say it's worth it's almost worth to forego the Zanyas. But he's completed it now, and that's basically max item. No Lich Bane is possible for Quas now. Voyboy's at max items, you know. You look at High, and Sneaky's almost at max items as well. If Sneaky gets to that Bloodthirster, he's going to need about 1,000 more gold. He is going to be a huge damage threat, but still very squishy. They found Dominate. This could be the fight.
Do they focus him though? Dominate is very big right now, and they have to find where the DPS is coming from. Balls, that's the IWillDominate keeping him down. Cock threads the needle and finds the rocket hit. The flash over the wall. All-star special play, but can the team follow through? The shots are coming in. Cock gets one reset. Cock looking for another one. They're going to be coming off the rest of the team, and Curse almost dominating out Cloud9. But wait, Sneaky's having his way with the team, and he comes up huge. Curse is aced.
That's the damage and the late game potential that Cloud9 has been waiting for this entire time. Sneaky somehow doesn't die despite the spectacular flash hook from Xpecial. And now it's all about how much Sneaky and Meteos can get done to Curse's base.
I feel like they can get a lot done. Skittering Frenzy along with Kog'Maw stacked up on pretty much the max attack speed he's going to get with the passive from his Caustic Spittle being leveled up. They have some serious damage here. The lowest timer is 15 seconds, and a Thresh is not going to shut this down. They may stay for some Nexus turret.
How long are they going to stay? It's 20 seconds on relevant.
Sneaky's taking shots.
Only so big. They might try
Chad,
the game.
This is going to be game.
Xpecial's the only one alive. He can't defend.
Unless he can get a double death sentence, double flay. The game is over. The teleport's coming in. What a matchup to end week 9. 44.5 minutes in. Cloud9 takes down Curse.
There were 55 kills in that 45-minute game.
And I loved every one of them.
An absolute bloodbath.
Wow. I'm covered.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what happened right there. Cloud9 couldn't find the right team fights the entire game. They finally find the right one at the end, where their tanks are actually focused, Lemon and Balls going down first, and their damage dealers are alive at the end of it. That's what it took. 11-5-7 on Sneaky's Kog'Maw. He was just a pinata for most of the game, but eventually he got enough damage to close this one out. And miraculously, Cloud9 comes from behind and wins.
I think that might be the first Kog'Maw game I've seen a Kog'Maw stay safe without one shield that he could get. He had a Braum stand behind him, but without one shield, he continuously stayed on the back line. Complete positioning gave Cloud9 the advance in that game.
Well, at least by the end of it, LemonNation built up 2 itemization shields, which let me tell you were rather important.
Yeah, have to synergize those in towards the end.
Jeez, what a way to finish the week. I mean, Cloud9 is probably pretty happy to come away with the win after just getting killed the whole game. I'm willing to say that's the most a North American LCS team has died this split and won. 31 deaths in victory.
That probably is a true story. Beautiful game coming from both teams. The gold is still 80.5 and 80.3 at the end of the game. We only had a 4,000 gold lead at the time, and I think that was one of our main stories, is that the gold will never be that far apart in this game. Teams are going to try to grab something if you get it from them quicker.
What a game.
Absolutely. We're not going to stop. We're not going to wait. We want more info. Right now, we're going to send it down to Dash, who's standing by on the red side.
Thanks, Riv. I'm here with Sneaky after a pretty intense battle there against Curse Gaming. Now, that win brings you guys to 13-9, which ties you with CLG up in second place. So first off, how does that feel going into the last 6 games of the season?
It actually feels really great knowing that we're higher in the ranks now. We've been 5th place the entire season, about around then, and now we're actually moving up. And I think we are improving our play, and it is showing.
I asked Balls a little bit about it yesterday, and I just want to follow up with you in that having been a first-place team in the past couple splits and having that kind of mentality of, you know, we're doing super well, what have you learned so far this split from the losses that you've picked up that you think is propelling you now later in the season into, you know, kind of that top tier?
I think what I've learned a lot of is just how we practice is what translates into LCS. If we're having really good practice weeks, we'll do really well in LCS. But I think through the first couple weeks, we were doing pretty bad in our practice, just how we were going about it and just how we were playing in general. It wasn't that great, so we actually lost a lot of games, but now we're improving a lot because we've improved our practice.
All right, so now to jump into the game. This was an extraordinarily explosive game. I mean, there was like 40 kills at 35 minutes. You know, that's a ton of kills. So how do you deal with a game when it just seems like it's fight after fight after fight and you don't have a moment to breathe and like reset?
I knew I was really strong personally, so I knew I could do loads of damage as long as Yasuo wasn't stopping me. So I didn't really tell it to my team, but they knew how strong I was. So we kind of just played around me in the fights. At least I think. I was playing in the back, just waiting till my W was up to go in at all. And I think it kind of turned out pretty well for us, even though we had really close fights.
Yeah, following up on that, the fact that you were so strong, but also so squishy compared to the other members of your team. I mean, you had a huge Mundo, a huge Rise, a Braum, so you knew the target was on your back. With a Yasuo and an Evelynn, one, how stressful is that? And then two, what are the steps to dealing with that when in a really hectic team fight?
It's not actually that stressful as long as I know I have my flash up. If I don't have flash, I'm literally going to die. It actually happened right after they got Baron. I didn't have flash up and I died for it. But every other fight that I had flash, I was almost impossible to kill just because of Bork and Trinity Force making me so impossible to kill through sustain and just move speed, I guess.
All right, well, another question would be that at the end of the game there, you guys got that ace and you were pushing down the middle. Who made the call to go ahead and try and finish it, knowing that the timers and the death timers were going to be pretty close to coming back up?
I think it was mainly high, but we were like, well, couldn't we do Baron? But it's not like we're really going to get anything off Baron because it'll only be me and Meteos getting the buff, so we just went for the push, and it worked out.
All right, my final question for the day would be looking ahead at playoffs, who do you feel is going to be your toughest competition when it comes to those semis and finals?
I know CLG and LMQ are both above us, and I do think they'll be the hardest matches. So that's it.
All right, well, best of luck in those matches. Thank you so much. It looks like you guys are moving pretty strong into the postseason. Anyway, we're going to throw it back up to Riv and Jack to close out the day.
Thank you very much, Dash, and an amazing game indeed. I don't think we can say it enough out of that. All the games today, very competitive.
I really just have to say, even in defeat, I think Curse made some really positive strides. So much of their previous games have been capitalizing on teams' mistakes. They were actually trying to make a lot of big moves, even if they didn't work out with victory. The fact that they showed the initiative, made the initiations, and had Cloud9 on the ropes is a good testament to their future.
And we saw a lot of players bringing out some news today. Not new for BXN, but he brought Xerath out again. That was his first Rise that he brought out, so he was playing quite strong on that. We saw LMQ kind of return to a few things, and the Gragas working again for them with the Lee Sin. A lot of things that are coming to fruition for these teams that are seeing that they work, but then again, you're giving the other teams an idea of how to stop it, so it's only going to get more competitive. We saw that this week in Week 9. So let's pull up the standings to see how the table is set in first. It is LMQ with 15 wins.
And 2 games ahead of the pack, but tied for second is Cloud9, CLG, and TSM.
That's
One
right.
game back is Dignitas in 5th with Curse in 6th.
Always got to be a tie this season. Complexity sits in 7th place. They're going to be followed by Evil Geniuses in last. And there were a ton of LCS big plays this week, but let's break down who were the OP players. Up first, it's Ackerman in the top lane, who showed just how dangerous the fat man can be. His Gragas helped secure LMQ's hold on first place.
And in the jungle, another player from the same team, it's No Name. He consistently gets his team off to an early lead, and his Baron steal allowed LMQ to take control of the game against COG. He's also their primary shot caller.
And in the mid lane, it's going to be Voyboy. He surprised a lot of people with his Tristana pick, and not least of which were the Dignitas players. Then today, he turned in a valiant effort as Yasuo against Cloud9.
10 kills and 17 assists in that game. OP at 80 carry, it is sneaky. His Kog'Maw was responsible for their incredibly close win just now over Curse to make it 2-0 on the week.
And finally, on support, it's more from LMQ. You can depend on him to secure early kills for Vasily, and it brings a lot of lane pressure. But one player who stood out this week above the rest is going to be LMQ's Ackerman.
Yeah, he kind of proved himself to be the master of Gragas in North America. That kill was a shocker for everyone, and then he was the last man standing to close out that game. I mean, he builds Gragas differently each game. He also used the champ to match effectiveness, and honestly, he also helped them take sole possession of first place this week, which is the biggest thing of all. It's been Xiao again and again for LMQ. It's Ackerman's turn to step up a bit.
They've secured their playoff spot, and no problem to him, kind of showing that the big man can still be an assassin of some types if he really gets going. So the LCS will be back next week, starting off with a popping hot serving of the LCS preview show on Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 5:30 Central European Summertime.
Make sure to catch that. Then the European LCS kicks off with Roccat versus Gambit, followed by Millennium taking on the Copenhagen Wolves.
And then the North American LCS returns on Saturday, starting with LMQ versus Complexity, and after that TSM will battle it out with Evil Geniuses, followed by Cloud9 versus Dignitas. For a full rundown of the schedule, head over to LOLesports.com. And as we throw it over to Freak and Zyrene for the North American Challenger Series, let's take a quick look back at some of the highlights from our day so far.
Don't you think the minions would have learned by now to stop running through the lane? Because they're just gonna die.
Now giving Dig time to recuperate and assess the fight. Zion's fired! He makes the leap, and he makes the strike!
Give me some skin.
Give me some skin? What the
That's what you say when you want to fist bump someone.
Give me some skin.
No, dude,
That's messed
give
up.
me some skin.
That's messed
It's
up.
not messed
Give me
up.
That is definitely messed up.
Okay, let's
Amazing ward jumps, but is he going to be able to finalize? The Sonic Wave does not hit, but he's in position.
You are my fire, the one desire. Believe when I say that I want it that way.
Teleport, he's going to come in. Is it going to go down in favor of Team Solo Mid? Oh my god, it's stolen by No Name! They get the Baron! They shut down Double Lift! LMQ completely wipes out Counter Logic Gaming! Sneaky is very healthy. One shot can kill a few. Oh my god, one shot can kill a few! That's what he needed! And here it comes! Sneaky's going to turn it around, and he